Pompeo's comments received mixed reviews. Some felt his words were tongue-in-cheek, but others found the comments damaging, especially as the Trump campaign has produced zero evidence of election fraud. Joining us now to talk about how Trump's message of election fraud will affect Biden's transition is Quick Takes Madison Mills. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Renita. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Just recovering from the insanity of this election cycle, still doing our best.
We're trying, but before we start this conversation, I want to underscore the fact that there's still zero evidence of widespread voter fraud. But what's the latest on the Trump efforts to contest the election results?
It's such a great point that you just made, Renita. There is zero evidence right now of election fraud, and I think that's why we're seeing a lot of shock in response to Mike Pompeo's comments earlier today. Even if it was a tongue-in-cheek comment, a lot of people are saying there's already enough distrust being sowed in the electoral process in this country. Don't further that with comments like that, and that's something we're hearing from a lot of the Biden supporters today. But in terms of the latest, Attorney General William Barr did announce that the DOJ could move forward with investigating any form of election fraud. And this ruffled a lot of feathers. We saw that the head of the Election Crimes Investigation Unit did resign immediately after, which was seen as a form of protest against Barr alluding to any form of potential election fraud. And it's really unclear where Barr thinks that's going to lead. Trump would have to overcome about 10,000 votes for Biden in 3 key swing states to be able to make the argument that he won this election. So it's just very unclear right now where the Trump campaign thinks this is going to go.
So how will this effort to contest the election continue to impact President Trump's governing over the next few months before inauguration?
We haven't seen much from the president in the days after this election. He was down in Florida and came back up to D.C., and his schedule has been pretty light the past few days. And of course, this comes as coronavirus cases are surging, and millions of Americans are still waiting for that stimulus package. But it's not just impacting Trump's schedule. It's also, of course, impacting Biden. And I want to give you a quick listen into what Biden had to say about election fraud earlier today.
Quite frankly, the only thing that, how can I say this tactfully? I think it will not help the president's legacy.
So we are also hearing from the Biden campaign that they are not opposed to taking legal action to get this transition officially started if they need to.
Wow. So is there a timeline on that?
The real date that we're hearing is December 8th. That's 6 days before the electors. We heard a lot about the Electoral College last week. That's 6 days before they go officially declare their votes for the next president of the United States. And it's really, everything is gearing up to that date. That's how long the Trump administration has to file these final lawsuits and how long they have to try and make this final push in this argument that the election was rigged.
Quick Takes Madison Mills, thank you so much. We're going to continue to monitor the Trump campaign's response to these election results.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.